The San Antonio heat. Imagine the intense heat of a June afternoon in San Antonio, Texas back in 1994. The air is heavy and smells of dusty roads and dry grass. Nicholas Barclay is 13 years old. He has bright blue eyes that seem to see right through you and dark blonde hair that is always messy. He is a boy full of energy, sometimes too much. On June 13th, he is playing basketball with friends at a nearby park. He calls home from a payphone, a simple call asking for a ride because he is tired and his legs hurt. But the phone line at his house is dead. His older brother Jason cannot pick him up. Nicholas says he will walk the 3 miles. Visualize him walking, bouncing the basketball on the cracked sidewalk, moving through the residential streets, turning into a shadow under the severe overpass. That was the last minute anyone saw the real Nicholas Barclay. He never made it home. He simply vanished into the afternoon heat. His room, his favorite basketball, his family, all left behind. The initial search finds nothing. The desert near San Antonio is vast and unforgiving. The investigation is a messy labyrinth from day one. The family is divided. His mother believes he was targeted, perhaps abducted, but other relatives whisper about the volatile and aggressive dynamic Nicholas had with his older brother. Detectives find a conflicting clue. Nicholas's room was locked from the inside, but a window was open, a common path for runaways. This is the start of a cold dossier on a missing person, a messy, unsolved investigation. Every crime leaves a trace. But this trace was erased by the desert wind. The silence of the empty room. For 3 years, the Barclay home remains a silent temple of grief. Nicholas's mother, Carrie Gibson, refuses to move a single object in his bedroom. The posters of basketball stars stay on the walls. The shoes stay by the door. Visualize her sitting on the edge of his bed in the middle of the night, listening to the house creak. She is waiting for the sound of a key in the lock. She is waiting for a miracle. The police files grow thick with dead ends. There were sightings in other states, but they always turned out to be someone else. The psychological pressure on the family is immense. Jason, the older brother, becomes more withdrawn and angry. The neighbors watch the house with pity and suspicion. They wonder if Nicholas ran away to escape a home that was becoming too small for his spirit. Or did something happen inside those walls before the basketball game even started? The desert sun continues to bleach the missing persons flyers until the face of Nicholas is just a white ghost on the wooden poles of the city. Every day, Carrie looks at the telephone. She knows that every second that passes is a second further away from her son. But the universe is about to play a very cruel trick on her heart. A phone call is coming from across the ocean, and it will change everything she knows about the truth. The phone call from the past. Imagine the sound of the telephone ringing in October 1997. It is late. Carrie answers and hears the voice of a man from a police station in Linares, Spain. The man says, "We have found your son." Imagine the shock that travels through her body like a lightning bolt. Nicholas is alive. He is in a shelter for runaway children. He has been through a nightmare. The man says he has escaped from a secret kidnapping ring that took him all the way to Europe. Carrie does not ask how. She does not ask why his voice sounds different. She only hears the words, "Your son is alive." She flies to Spain with her sister. She walks into a small room and sees a young man sitting in the corner. He has dark hair and brown eyes. Nicholas had blonde hair and blue eyes. But Carrie does not see the physical truth. She only sees the boy who says, "I am Nicholas." She hugs him and cries. She tells the world that her miracle has finally arrived. But as you look at them in that room, you can see the intense expressions of a woman who is desperate to believe and a young man who is calculated and cold. This is the beginning of the most disturbing psychological power dynamic in criminal history. The trace was not found, it was manufactured. And the real Nicholas is still out there in the dark. The imposter in the mirror. Picture the flight back to Texas. Carrie is holding the hand of the young man she believes is her son. He tells her a story of pain and torture. He says the kidnappers used strange drugs on him that change his eye color from blue to brown. He says the trauma made his hair turn dark. He speaks with a heavy accent that sounds more French than Texan. He says he was forced to learn other languages while he was a prisoner of the secret society. Visualize the investigators in San Antonio, watching this reunion with intense expressions of doubt. They see a young man who looks 23 years old claiming to be 16. They see a boy who does not remember the names of his childhood friends. But Carrie is a shield. She tells the police to leave him alone. She says he is traumatized and needs rest. The young man moves into Nicholas's bedroom. He sleeps under the posters of a boy he never met. He wears the clothes of a child who is gone. He is a phantom living in a dead boy's house. And the family accepts him. They take him to dinners. They show him off to the neighbors. They act as if the last 3 years never happened. This is a messy and unsolved psychological labyrinth where the victim is also the perpetrator. The brother's shadow. Now focus on Jason, the older brother. When the imposter arrives, Jason is the only one who stays away. He does not want to hug this new Nicholas. He looks at him with severe expressions of anger and fear. The dynamic between them is like a wire about to snap. The imposter notices this. He begins to feel that Jason knows something. The criminal dossier of this case is filled with small moments of tension. The imposter watches Jason, and Jason watches the imposter. One night, the imposter hears Jason shouting in his room about the past. Jason's behavior becomes even more unstable. He begins to use drugs and gets into trouble with the law. Is it because he is happy his brother is home, or is it because he is terrified that the real truth about what happened in 1994 is about to come out? The imposter is a master of manipulation. He uses his trauma to keep the family in a state of constant pity. He tells them he cannot remember the night he vanished because it is too painful. He creates a wall of silence that no one is allowed to cross. But a private investigator named Charlie Parker is already looking at the ear shapes in the old photos, and he realizes that the ears of the boy in Spain do not match the ears of the boy from San Antonio. The ears are like a fingerprint. They do not lie. The web of deceit. The imposter is actually a man named Frédéric Bourdin. He is a professional liar from France known as the Chameleon. He has spent his life pretending to be other people. He has stolen dozens of identities across Europe. He found the file of Nicholas Barclay and decided to become him. He dyed his hair and tattooed the same symbols on his skin that Nicholas had. He is a criminal genius who found a family that was too broken to see the truth. Imagine the intensity of his performance. He sits at the dinner table eating American food and pretending to be a Texan teenager, while he is actually a 23-year-old criminal. He is playing a game with their lives. But why did the family accept him so easily? Experts in criminal psychology believe that Carrie was blinded by grief. But they also believe that some members of the family knew he was a fake and used him as a cover. If the imposter is in the house, then the police will stop looking for a body. If the imposter is Nicholas, then the investigation into the family's role in the disappearance is closed. The imposter was a gift to those who had something to hide. Every crime leaves a trace, and Frédéric Bourdin was a trace that was pointing in the wrong direction. The investigators doubt. Charlie Parker is a private investigator with a sharp mind and a cold eye. He is hired by a television crew to film the reunion. But as he looks through his lens, he sees the truth. He sees that the eyes are wrong. He sees that the ears are wrong. He sees that the boy is a man. He begins to dig into the background of the Spanish shelter. He finds that the boy gave them a false name before he claimed to be Nicholas. Parker takes a DNA sample from a soda can the imposter used. He sends it to a lab. Visualize the tension in the room when the results come back. The DNA does not match Nicholas Barclay. It does not match anyone in the family. The imposter is a stranger. Charlie Parker goes to the FBI. He tells them, you have a criminal in that house. You have a man who is living with a mother who is either crazy or lying. The FBI begins a secret operation to identify the man. They find that he is Frédéric Bourdin, a man with a long criminal record in France. The mask is starting to crack. The phantom is being pulled into the light. The confrontation. The FBI agents arrive at the Barclay home. They take the imposter into a room and show him the fingerprints. They show him the photos from France. Bourdin realizes the game is over. He smiles and admits the truth. He says, I'm not Nicholas. I am Frédéric. But then he says something that stops the blood in their veins. He says, I only stayed in that house because the family was hiding a secret. He claims that Jason, the brother, killed Nicholas years ago, and that the mother knew about it. He says they accepted him as an imposter because it meant they were safe from the law. Imagine the psychological explosion in that house. The mother is screaming that he is a liar. Jason is nowhere to be found. The criminal dossier is now turning into a murder investigation. Bourdin is arrested and sent to prison for identity theft. But the real question remains. What happened to Nicholas? Bourdin claims he saw the fear in Jason's eyes every time the police were mentioned. He says the family treated him like a weapon they could use to stay out of jail. The brothers end. Jason Barclay, the brother, who is the most aggressive and volatile member of the family, dies of a drug overdose shortly after the imposter is exposed. He takes his secrets to the grave. He never admitted to killing Nicholas. He never explained the arguments or the locked room. The investigation into his role in the disappearance ends with his death. Carrie continues to maintain her innocence. She says she truly believed Frédéric was her son. She says her heart made her blind. But the town of San Antonio is not convinced. They see a family that let a stranger live in their home to avoid a murder charge. The dossier of Nicholas Barclay is a messy and unsolved tragedy where the truth is buried under layers of lies. Every crime leaves a trace, and the death of Jason was the final trace of the Barclay family mystery. The case goes cold again. Nicholas is still a shadow on a flyer. And Frédéric Bourdin goes back to France to find a new identity. He is a predator who feeds on the holes left by missing children. The mind of a chameleon. Let's look deep into the mind of Frédéric Bourdin. He is not a normal criminal. He is a man who hates his own life so much that he must live the lives of others. He grew up without a father and with a mother who did not want him. He felt like a ghost. By becoming Nicholas Barclay, he finally had a mother who loved him. He finally had a home and a bed. He was willing to risk prison just to feel the warmth of a family dinner. This is the dark side of the imposter syndrome. He is a man who can mirror the intense expressions of his victims until they believe he is one of them. He studied the videos of Nicholas. He practiced the walk and the gestures. He was an actor in the most dangerous play ever staged. But he was also a mirror for the Barclays. He showed them what they wanted to see. He gave them back a son so they didn't have to face the ghost in the attic. The power dynamic was a mutual exchange of lies. The weight of the grief. Carrie Gibson is a woman who lives in a world of mirrors. Even after the FBI proved that Frédéric was a liar, she still looked at the photos of him with sadness. She lost her son twice. Once in 1994 and once in Spain. The psychological impact of being tricked by an imposter is a form of trauma that never heals. She is a woman who will always be known as the mother who didn't know her own child. But was she a victim or a co-conspirator? In the criminal dossier, there are notes from agents who say she was too calm when the truth was revealed. They say she seemed more worried about the imposter leaving than about the fact that her real son was still missing. This is the messy part of the investigation. When grief becomes a tool for survival, the line between right and wrong disappears. The desert sun continues to beat down on San Antonio, and the traces of the real Nicholas Barclay are lost in the sand. The lessons of the imposter. The Nicholas Barclay case changed how the FBI handles missing children. They now require DNA tests before reunions can happen. They learned that the human heart is easy to fool when it is broken. They learned that a mother's love is not always enough to see the truth. The dossier is a warning about the predators who wait in the shadows of our tragedies. Frédéric Bourdin is now back in Europe. He has married and had children of his own. But he is still a man of 1,000 faces. He says he regrets the pain he caused, but he also says he gave the Barclays the happiest months of their lives. He sees himself as a doctor who gave them a temporary cure for their grief. It is a terrifying way to look at a crime. He is a phantom that still haunts the files of the FBI. And the basketball that Nicholas bounced on the sidewalk in 1994 is still silent. The unsolved void. 30 years have passed since Nicholas Barclay vanished. The case is officially cold. There are no new leads. There are no new witnesses. The family has moved on or passed away. But the dossier remains open at the San Antonio Police Department. It is a file filled with intense expressions of a boy who never got to grow up. The forensic details are still there, the locked room, the open window, the dead phone line. But without a body, there is no crime. Without a confession, there is no justice. The disappearance of Nicholas is a hole in the fabric of the city. It is a reminder that people can truly vanish into thin air. The criminal psychology of the case suggests that the answer was always inside the house. It was in the eyes of Jason. It was in the silence of Carrie. But the imposter came and muddied the waters until the truth was impossible to find. The forensic ghost. Every few years, a new investigator looks at the Barclay file. They look at the ear shapes. They look at the DNA that didn't match. They look at the letters Bourdin sent from prison. They try to find a pattern they missed. But the desert has a way of keeping its secrets. The traces are gone. The basketball court where Nicholas played his last game is now covered in weeds. The payphone he used is gone. The city has grown and changed, but the ghost of Nicholas is still there. He is the boy who never came home, and the boy who came home as a stranger. He is the phantom of the sun. The dossier is a labyrinth with no exit. It is a story of how a single lie can derail a search for the truth for 30 years. It is the perfect example of a messy and unsolved investigation where the primary witness was a professional liar. The final questions. As we look at the final pages of this dossier, we are left with the same questions we started with. What happened to Nicholas on that walk home? Why did his brother Jason die with so much fear in his heart? And why did a mother accept a stranger into her home? The intense expressions of the people in this story are the only evidence we have left. We see the pain, the guilt, and the calculated deception. We see a family that was destroyed by a fire that didn't use flames. They were destroyed by the cold silence of a missing child. The imposter was just a symptom of a much deeper sickness. He was the shadow that proved the light was gone. Every crime leaves a trace, and the trace of Nicholas Barclay is a cry for help that no one heard until it was too late. The final veredicto. The dossier of Nicholas Barclay and the French imposter is a journey into the darkest corners of the human mind. It is a story of how we see what we want to see even when the truth is staring us in the face with different colored eyes. Frédéric Bourdin proved that identity is a fragile thing. He proved that a name and a story can be stolen, but a soul cannot. He is a man who will always be a phantom. And Nicholas will always be the 13-year-old boy bouncing a ball in the San Antonio heat. The forensic conclusion is that the real tragedy happened in 1994. Everything after was just a show staged by a chameleon. The investigation into the Barclay family is a ghost that will never be laid to rest. The traces are cold, but the story is still alive. It is a warning to us all. Trust your eyes, but listen to your gut. Because the phantom is always looking for a new home. The echoes of the sun. Close your eyes and listen to the wind. It sounds like the bounce of a basketball on a hot sidewalk. It sounds like a mother calling a name into the dark. Nicholas Barclay is more than a missing person. He is a symbol of all the children who are lost in the gaps between our lies and our truths. The criminal psychology of the imposter teaches us that we are all vulnerable when we are hurting. We are all willing to believe in phantoms if they promise to fill the void in our hearts. But the void cannot be filled by a lie. It can only be filled by the truth, and sometimes the truth is too much to bear. The dossier is now being put back into the archive. The file is closed for now, but the echoes of the sun will never stop. Every crime leaves a trace. Can you find the one that leads to Nicholas? Or is he gone forever into the Texas sun? The final call to action. This investigation into the phantom of the sun has reached its end. You have walked through the desert and through the house of lies. You have seen the intense expressions of the broken and the bold. This is Mind 74, and we are the voice for those who can no longer speak. Do you have a mind for the truth? Do you believe the family knew the imposter was a fake from the start? Your theory is the final piece of this dossier. Join our community of investigators by clicking the subscribe button right now. Do not let the truth stay buried in the sand. Turn on your notifications so you can be the first to hear when we unlock the next file. Leave a comment with your thoughts on Frédéric Bourdin. Was he a monster or a man looking for a home? Share this story with those who are not afraid to look into the shadows. I am your guide through these criminal mysteries, and I will return with a new dossier very soon. Keep your mind sharp. Keep your heart strong. And remember that the truth is the only thing that can set a phantom free. Until next time.